welcome back to a brand new episode of NH Unscripted. We're coming to you from the not-so-overly ostentatious digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. The North, the old Norm Nathan from WBC. Get out those transistor radios, kick back on the waterbeds, light the incense. You'll want to be in a dream world for this one, baby. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans in Concord. 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. And NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. And if you're hearing all kinds of background noise, me hitting the microphone stands and yeah. Bites being old. We are celebrating 80 years. 80 years of community radio. My God, it's a long time to be doing anything at all. That's a long time. I'll tell you some more later about what's going on out at our website. We have a repeat guest today, and I'm so happy to have him in. Good morning, Marek Bennett.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. You've been busy.
Mm-hmm.
Your Instagram account is lit. Holy Toledo. You publish a lot of stuff out there. So the last time you were in, we had talked about getting you back in because you were working on something. You had a project that was, you wanted to wait until, see how it came about to get you back in. Has that come to fruition?
It's hard to tell. I always have several projects going on, so I have to think, what project would that have been? I usually do several things at a time.
I'll bet you do. For folks who don't know, let's reiterate. You are a children's, is this right? Children's historical book, I don't want to say narrator, illustrator?
I always just say I'm a cartoonist. And
that sounded so easy, so much easier than what I was reaching for.
Well, yeah, branding, right? If you can fit it on a bumper sticker. I'm a cartoonist. I draw stuff, and I draw as simply as possible.
You do.
Not in a lazy way, but in a trying to be clear way. And often people think that's drawing for kids because kids really appreciate that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, as we grow up, we're taught to appreciate more and more complexity. Yeah. But if you can draw complicated things simply, that's a skill I try to practice. And so as a cartoonist, I'm not drawing for kids necessarily.
Brother, I absolutely love the way you draw.
Oh, thanks. I
mean that sincerely. I was thinking about it the other day. I don't have to make it fit any kind of, sort of box, but it's very simple, and yet it achieves its purpose. Maybe that's the point to it being so simple, right? It's all in the simplicity of it. It's beautiful. I mean, I just love it. It's enticing. It's very inviting. Every time I open up to another page, I just want to start reading something. I hope a lot of people find that out. I mean, it's really, that's the way I find every time I touch one of your things.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's really good to get that feedback. That every artist needs encouragement like that, because when you're working on it, sometimes you're like, oh, this is great, this is going great, but there's always a point where you think, wait a minute, am I totally crazy? Who's going to want to read this? So it's always good to. That's what we were talking about last fall. I think I was about to put the book out, and I was excited, but a little uncertain how it was going to come together. And
you happy?
Well, the books I draw, I do. We didn't say. I think I do mostly graphic novels. Yep. But along the way, each book takes me about 3 or 4 years to make.
I can imagine. I was going to ask you about that too.
So along the way, I'm posting little bits and pieces here and there, and I like to share them with as many readers as possible. And I visit schools, and I show them to students, and I ask them for feedback. And
you do.
The first
from
feedback
kids,
is
from school kids.
Yeah. Because these books, like I said, I don't draw them for kids, but I draw them to be read. And when it turns out, this is something I kind of discovered along the way, if you dig into history and learn stories and then draw those stories out. It makes them visible to people, and it makes them, at least the way I focus on doing it, it makes it so a 10-year-old reader and an 80-year-old reader can literally read the same book and get the same story and the same rewards out of it. So I think the art form, the act of cartooning is what's making the story accessible, because those stories are there. They're written down in primary sources. Sometimes they're scattered all throughout different archives.
Yeah, I remember you telling me the last time you were here, you had to go from town to town to town to get the libraries to check out all these tertiary characters who were involved in the stories. You're like, every time you'd come across new, you'd be like, wait, what did that person have to do with this?
Right.
Hang on, you go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. So the book, this book, we should say the book, I guess.
Please do.
The Civil War Diary of Freeman Colby, Volume 4, is the one that came out just this March. Yeah, just last month. And when I talked to you last year, I think I probably said, it'll be published and out within a couple months. And that was like fall 2025. And I really did have plans to finish it, to get it out to readers by the end of the year. But the printing business and the supply chain and the calendar had other ideas. So it's just taken a few months extra.
It's over 400 pages long.
It's a big book, yeah.
Yeah. You think?
There's
and
a
it's
lot.
volume 4.
Right.
400 pages in volume 4.
Well, that's the thing. I want to do history not by. I don't want it to have to fit into the boxes we have that we expect for it. I don't want to have to say, well, I got to tell this story in 20 pages, or I have to tell this story in an hour or something.
Like a song, right?
Yeah. So I want it to. I want it to be more like open-ended free jazz or something, where I'm like, this needs to be said, and that leads to this, and that leads to this. So this book was actually running to over 500 pages.
I can believe that easily.
And I tinkered with my whole plan for the series, and I said, I'm going to lop off the last 100 pages here.
Gutsy.
And that, gutsy, yeah, but now I have a head start on volume 5. So it was like, I'm going to take this problem and make it an absolute head start on the next book. But the whole idea, the premise of it is, what if we just followed it started with one person. It's more than one person. But the premise was originally, what if we start with one soldier's diary from the Civil War and follow that person day by day as they make notes in their diary of what happened to them, as they tell their story, basically. And what if I just stick with that? I'm not going to do some big overview of what's going on the next valley over, or across the mountain, or across the continent.
Says the man about to work on his 5th volume.
It's not a big overview. It's an on-the-ground view, right? It's like your view of your life, not saying, well, meanwhile, on the other side of the world, this is going on, and that impacts Ray in this way. We don't realize that as we tell our own story day to day. So it's drawn from diaries and letters, but then very, very soon, 400 pages into the series, by the second volume, I realized, wait a minute, diaries and letters don't give you the whole idea. And as a modern reader, my modern readers need to understand certain things. I need to understand certain things that this character, Freeman Colby, a school teacher from New Hampshire, just isn't telling in his diary and letters, either because he doesn't want to tell them or he's not aware of it. So it kind of became my job to say, okay, that's his story, and I'm going to flesh this out with some pages on this, and so I needed to find other characters. They're all main characters.
Yeah.
I think of them all as main characters.
Yeah, I don't know how you keep track of them.
I just couldn't, the title of the book can't have 20 different names in it. That won't fit on the cover. So I had to go with my original main character's name. But the series is really, I try to, I can kind of lift up away from his voice and float to another character and show you what's really happening the next valley over that is about to impact us.
And then return right back to it and kind of tie it all up.
Yeah. So volume 4 goes deep into the summer of 1864. Freeman Colby he's a school teacher, like I said. He retires from teaching. He says he needs a more relaxing job than teaching. So at that point, he enlists in the Union Army. Which tells you something about teachers' pay and the conditions they work in. And
well put.
That's something that definitely caught my eye and got me interested in his story, that he had that background. And I'm a teacher too and a cartoonist. So at this point, he's with the 39th Mass. He's down taking part in the siege of Richmond.
Yeah.
And I just went deep into that summer with him.
All right. Great place to put a temporary. Yes, sir, you do. You were listening to NH Unscripted. Beautiful, beautiful stories like this. Man, it's all what it's all about. We're coming to you from the Taj Mahal-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. My God, it is absolutely cavernous in here. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on those transistor radios. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Tell you a little bit more again later, but hopefully if I remember what's happening out there. Marek Bennett's in the house, and we're talking illustrating. Put it that way. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted, where we are just one toke over the line. Sweet Jesus. Brewing Shipley reference there. We're coming to you from the YMCA-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. Very proud to say it, too. You can smell the pool chlorine all the way over here. 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. Marek Bennett is making a return visit today to talk about illustrating. He called himself a cartoonist, but it's better than that. The quality's much better than that. He's humble. So you sent me this beautiful. I received this information. These are these postcards? What are these cards? They're beautiful.
Thank you. Those are the cards I make to go with the book. So when I send out the book to pre-orders and early backers and patrons, I enclose a set of postcards.
You do?
Yeah,
you do. I hated to touch them.
Oh,
well, I was looking. I'm like, I would never want to write on these things. They're just too nice.
Well, my hope, I guess it's a failed marketing idea.
Yes.
Because my hope is that people will say, "Oh, this is a good book. Oh, I'm going to share that. I'm going to send a postcard to my friend." Maybe this is old fashioned. Yeah. I don't know if people do this anymore. At least one, you pick your favorite, and that can be your bookmark, and then you can pass another along to a friend, and it has the title of the book on it. And I just believe. I don't know. Social media is great. Digital media is great for getting the word out, supposedly worldwide.
Yeah.
There is a cost to that, but it's great for reaching a wide audience. However, if everybody can reach the wide audience, I don't know how much value my little post has, But the theory is like, if you like the book and you have a postcard and you pass it on to a friend, that's weighty. If a friend says to me, "Hey, I think you'll like this," and they give me something that's also eye-catching that has a website on it, I'm just trying to help people connect to physical objects like books. I really believe that matters for something.
You pick these up; they make you want to find out more. They're very inquisitive. I mean, I mean, you see this the first one, right? It just makes you wonder what's going on there. And I know people can't see what I'm pointing to, but
hold it up to the mic there.
yeah. See. But there's just enough happening on the face of this card to make me wonder, what in the world is that story about?
See, and you're holding up the front cover of the book, the artwork from the front cover of the book. So that's not a failed marketing campaign. That's actually success, because I tell my students, I want the cover to catch your eye and also raise a question and also push you from, this is kind of technical, but just push you from the left side to the right side, because when you go to the right side of the cover, the book's already starting to open up. Right, so if it gets you looking to the right side, it starts you opening the book, and then the cover's open before you know it, and something has to catch your eye.
You're down the rabbit hole after that, baby.
So every page after that, stuff a postcard in between every page, so as you read, they fall out. Every page after that, kind of gently guides you to the next page and guides you to the next page. And that's just a survival tactic for making a graphic novel. Because if you get to a page and there's nothing that makes you want to turn the page, you're more likely to put it down and go do something else, read something else, get distracted by something else.
This is first of all, I'm very impressed that this is a 400-page book. I mean, it's really, I know it had to have taken you a long time. This thing looks like, so it's this dichotomy here. It looks simplistic, but looking at it, a heck of a lot of research and work went into this. I mean, it's fascinating, and you're absolutely correct. You open it up. You can open this book up anywhere, and you immediately want to read what's on that page, and then you're in.
Every page has to stand alone.
It gets you.
Right?
Yeah.
It's its own cover. It's its own
good point.
Entry point to the story.
Yeah. And you don't feel like you've lost any. If you open this up anywhere, I mean, obviously you'd want to know what's coming before it, but you could start reading this anywhere here and enjoy it. You don't have to know necessarily what happened earlier on. I mean, obviously it would flesh out the story, but you could pick this up and get captivated right away.
Oh, thanks.
Halfway through the book.
So what might not be coming through the mic is I use a very technical cartooning style in this book called stick figures. And the characters are composed of circles, squares, triangles, and lines, and that's it, and little dots sometimes. But if you combine those in certain ways, you can get a character standing, you can get a character running, you can get a character smiling, you can get a character with enormous sideburns like General Burnside has, and so I'm constantly playing with the simplest possible materials, and I think that might partly. I'm just thinking as you say that might partly be why when you open up to a page, it's not photographically realistic. It's not overwhelming art technique. What you're looking at is mostly empty paper and a couple lines and dots and shapes. But you're seeing, hopefully, if I do my job right, you're seeing a bunch of words. I work in the words from the diaries, and the words add dimension to the pictures, and hopefully the pictures say, "Hey, look at me. I'm not threatening. I'm easy to see. You can tell what this is.
Great point.
Why don't you look at the next one over there?" And comics are constantly crossing borders, crossing into the next area, onto the next panel, onto the next page. And before you know it, you're 300 pages in, and you're like, what happens next? If it's working.
Yeah. Right. Good point. This is like the opposite of what they think with iPhones now, right? So iPhones, you have an attention span, if you're lucky, of 5 minutes, right? You can go, and you're flipping through TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook, constantly in search of the next dopamine rush. This invites you to stop. This invites you to really want to put your phone down and then take a moment and enjoy, if that sounds correct.
Oh, I want to put that on the back cover.
I don't want to be cliche here, but it's a respite. This book, it's so much more, we get so caught up in the garbage of the day and the things that we read about. This you open it up and I think you're not assaulted by a lot of needless vocabulary. The simplicity of the art says, "Oh, I can do this. I can look at this. I can get through this. This isn't like a big tome. It's not, War and Peace. It's something that you say, I can read 5 pages of this every day easily."
Oh, 5 pages takes a couple minutes.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The cool thing about graphic novels, there's so much in what you said there. That really resonates with me, that idea of this is a different media from the visual media that we're accustomed to in our digital devices.
Bombarded with.
A lot of people think like, oh, well, they're both visual, so we're all doing visual media, whether it's print graphic novels or phone. But your iPhone is not an inert device. It's not sitting there saying, "Would you like to read me?"
Right.
It's actively manipulating your attention. It is designed to addictively manipulate your attention. A graphic novel, when I say I want to guide your eye across the page so you're more likely to turn the page. I'm not addictively manipulating your attention the way I'm not watching you do it and then like guiding, reaching out and grabbing your hand and making you turn it. I'm not doing any manipulation like that. I'm working with you. I'm collaborating with you. I'm empathizing with the reader as I create the pages. And that's one piece of why it's such a powerful medium to teach in schools. That's why I visit schools with this, because I show students that practice, and I tell them, if you're making comics for someone to read, you have to anticipate how they're going to read it and then test it out on people and build your instincts for how they're going to read it. And the simplest thing is if they're an English language reader, they're going to read left to right. If you're drawing comics in Japan, you're going to draw it right to left. And the same rules apply, but you just need to know your readers, their culture, their expectations. Then you can play with that. You can surprise them if you want. You can actually do little tricks to get them reading in other directions.
I see.
But what really happens there, if you read War and Peace, let's say you have how long is War and Peace? Probably more than 500 pages, but
longer than I want to read.
It's going to be as long as my series, right?
Yeah,
and the big print edition probably is a couple thousand pages, and my series is that long now. So if you sit down to read War and Peace, all the decisions are made for you. You don't look at a page and you think, I think I'll read this A over here. And now I'm going to jump to this E over here. And what about some G's? Let's find some letter G's. You don't have to make those decisions. You read the first letter and the letter after it, and then make a word and the word after that, and you're in a line.
Yeah.
So it's much easier.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah. Good point. In some ways.
More to say.
Yeah, exactly right. I got to pay some bills. Hang on there. You are listening to NH Unscripted. These days of the discussions, why we get out of bed. My goodness, we are coming to you from the Green Acres like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on those transistor radios, baby. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. I wish you could see visually what I'm looking at here that Marek has so graciously donated to me. Anyway, Marek Bennett's in the house. We're talking illustrating. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. I know you're feeling lucky. Come on, just admit it. We are coming to you from the spa-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord, where we come to get all of our back rubs here. 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. Love you folks on there. Appreciate you so much. Marek Bennett's in the house. That's Marek, M-A-R-E-K. Bennett is in the house. Marek, can you give us a website while you're at it so I don't forget to ask you, please?
Sure. It's my name, MarekBennett.com.
Piece of cake. Doesn't get much easier than that. Speaking about not much easier, your website is chock full of stuff as well. I mean, and anything, I'm telling you, my Instagram from you is just lit. It just keeps popping up. You're very active in that respect, and I appreciate that. Mary, so when you first started, did you really think you would get like a volume 4, a 400-page volume 4?
No. I started this as an 8-page mini comic. 12 years ago.
Around that, folks.
12, 13 years ago. So when I just visited a 6th grade art class this week, and I mentioned that to them, and they're like, oh, that's when we were born. So it makes me feel old, but that's good. It makes me feel like I found something really worth doing, because it holds my attention and it holds other people's attention, and I can't stop. I can't not do it. I feel a really healthy kind of responsibility to tell this story, because this story literally fell off a shelf into my hands. The diary did. And I thought, my first thought was, well, this would make a good mini comic. So like I said, I made a little 8-page mini.
Yep.
And I started giving it out to people, because I always want to have, like the postcards, I always need to have something that I can just give out that's cheap. I can print it up for 5 or 10 cents and give it out to people so they can see what the work looks like. And so and my plan was, if I make a cool 8-page mini comic about Freeman Colby, the Civil War vet from Henniker, New Hampshire, everybody will run down to the Historical Society and read the diary because they'll be so interested in it. And that, of course,
you pessimist, optimist. I mean, you're eternal optimist.
That, of course, didn't happen.
It didn't, huh?
But they, but what did happen was people would say, "Oh, what happens next? Oh, what's next? You put a to be continued on there, and I kind of caught myself by accident. Oh yeah, to be continued. I guess I'll draw another 8-page mini."
Wow.
And I, after 6 months of adding every now and then adding to the story, I realized this is kind of interesting. I mean, I have to draw the whole thing now, but maybe I'll just take the exciting parts from the diary. And I drew a few of those, and then I realized, wait a minute, who am I to say who am I to select from this person's diary? Like, I think I need to draw the whole thing and not leave anything out, because this is how he wanted his story told. And that was my entry point, just doing the first book and just calling it The Civil War Diary of Freeman Colby, not volume 1, just the whole diary, because the diary is a fragment. It's only a 9-month section of his service. And that was all I had. And it breaks off kind of in the middle of a story, and the book ends. And I just sort of said, well, the story continues, hopefully. And that was that, as far as I knew.
Wow. So how many more do you think you have in you in this line? I mean, you're at 4. Have you find it to be exhaustive yet?
Well, Freeman Colby served until he was mustered out, I think, early June 1865. So there is a time limit to his Civil War diary.
Yeah. But you're able to pick up all these tangential characters that he bumps into or comes in contact with. So that's a whole world unto itself that you could now just break off from him and still continue on. I mean, how much more do you have? Well, I guess as much as you want, as long as you're going to continue to research, right? I mean, there's no end to what you could continue to do here.
For the Civil War, for American history? Yes, true. We will never have the truth, the final answer.
Never the truth, period.
Get
me started.
That's kind of the whole point, I think. I'm really into this idea lately. I think it came out maybe in a Joanne Freeman lecture or something about the Revolutionary War. I think it's her idea, but so it's not. I got this from somebody else.
All right.
But the idea being, like, we have this ongoing debate about society, about government, about what's the right way to govern, what's the right way to be in community together, what's the right way to be a citizen. We're not meant to find a final answer. If you find a final answer, that's a totalitarian system, right? You can find ways to do that, and then times change and you need new ways. So it's an ongoing conversation. The fact that we like to think we live in a democracy where we have a role in our government, that is crucial to that, is that we have this ongoing conversation. And I think history is a part of that, because that informs where we've come from. And what these books look at is a time when American, I'll say citizens, although some were secessionists and some were claiming citizenship in another country, but American citizens, in Lincoln's view, are literally in the mud, literally killing each other over ideas. And sometimes not over ideas, sometimes just because it's been 4 long years of killing each other in the mud. You don't just stop and say, well, that's enough. See you later. It keeps going. It develops its own logic. So this book really drew me in. I kind of thought, when I went to volume 2 of the series, I did all of 1863, January 1st to December 31st. And I was like, got to fit it in, got to run through this and make sure it works as a book. And that was a great project. But when I came to volume 3, I quickly realized there's no way to do 1864 in 500 pages the whole year. And I really only got to May. It was 5 months. And that filled the book up. That filled the book up with so many different characters and voices. When I came to volume 4 here, it's 2 months in the whole book.
Seriously?
That's what you're reading.
This represents 2 months
just the
in
summertime. Yeah, summer 1864, only up to the end of July. It's just June and July, and it's all that's happening. And I really limited the scope where I said, I'm not going to follow Nurse Lowe in the hospitals in Washington. There won't be any scenes with Lincoln, walking the streets and running into people. It's going to be just Freeman Colby and his immediate local colleagues, what they experience in the summer of '64. And there's a lot there.
Oh, that's
There's
an
so much there.
understatement. That's an understatement.
And the only way we can understand it, the only way we can understand where we've come from, where we've been, and have it inform where we are now, which I'm always drawing for readers now. I'm not.
Yeah, right.
My responsibility has totally shifted, where I started saying my responsibility is to tell Freeman Colby's story. I've come around to being like, yes, I have a responsibility to him in the abstract sense. Mm-hmm. But honestly, he's dead. He's never going to say to me, this is what I think of how you've done it. The closest I can get is his descendants, who I do send the books to, who are the ones who sent me the letters I'm using to draw this book. Yeah. So I feel a responsibility to them. But my main responsibility is to all of us who are reading this now, who are saying, oh my gosh, wait, as I drew volume 3, the Confederate flag was paraded through the halls of Congress in Washington, D.C. Wow. And that was a moment where I realized, no, I need to draw for now. I need to find the storytellers who can speak to us now. And that's what this book represents.
Man. I'm in awe. I really am. I mean, everything's beautiful. The colors are gorgeous. I mean, this one, look how much is going on in that card.
You're looking at a battle scene on that card of one of the most grotesque, tragic battles of the Civil War. And I'm not quibbling with you and describing it as beautiful. Gorgeous. That's great. I just think artwork has that ability, for better or for worse. It can make things beautiful and compelling and eye-catching. And I want to use that, hopefully, to increase understanding. So when you read that section on the Battle of the Crater, that's a picture of the Battle of the Crater there. I want readers to know, okay, this actually happened. This whole series, it's about 150 pages in the book, the last 150 pages or so. It's assembled. I assembled it from I don't even know how many soldiers' stories, officers and soldiers who wrote accounts of this. And that's drawn from the sketchbooks of artists like Alfred Lowe.
Seriously?
Yeah. So if you turn to the back of the book, there are pencil sketches showing what this battlefield looked like.
I saw.
And the book just has to take us into those.
Man. Marek, we're running out of time, dude. We're running out of time. All right, hang on. I got it. As always, I love these days. You are listening to NH Unscripted. I hope you're happy as I am right now. Do the happy dance. Yeah. We're coming from you deep within the bunkers of the WKXL studios in Concord. Buried, baby. Buried, I tell ya. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on those transistor radios. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Marek Bennett, cartoonist, illustrator, is in the house. Man, he's just rewarding us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. My gosh, we are coming to you from the Hollywood Square-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. This show comes to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Mondays, we kind of take a little detour. We jump in the Wayback Machine, take you to the songs of the 60s, kind of either reviving some memories or maybe creating some for you. The music from the 60s was so varied. I keep looking at things like, how am I listening to Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass? At the same time, I'm listening to Sam Cooke. How are those existing in the same arena? But they are. And we recently did anti-war songs from the 60s, songs that were banned in the 60s. Benevolent government. Don't get me started. Anyway, 80 years. Yeah, we're celebrating 80 years here at WKXL. So very, very happy about that. Wednesdays and Fridays, 9 a.m. This show airs and then re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays evenings at 8. Very happy. All right, eating up enough of Marek's time here. Sir, so you sent me not just this book, the Volume 4. You sent me this other one that was eye-catching, too. This New Hampshire sketchbook. You want to give us a little detail on how did this come about?
Sure, yeah. It's. I don't want to say it's an accidental book. It was a surprise.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't an accident at all. It was everything about it is intentional and very carefully done, but it wasn't a book I set out to do.
Yeah.
It was it kind of, I guess we were just talking about the sketchbook artists on the battlefields of the Civil War, right? Drawing what they saw for readers at home to with the responsibility, the vital charge of depicting accurately what they saw so that people could know where their family members were and what they were seeing, and to communicate the realities of what's going on out in the world to people elsewhere. So I started, inspired by that concept. Boy, if they were out on a battlefield drawing things, I can certainly take my sketchbook down to the farmer's market on a nice sunny afternoon and draw the scene. And I found that was a totally different skill from cartooning, because when I'm drawing panels on the pages in my graphic novel with the stick figures, trying to tell a story, I'm trying to get to a certain point, whether I'm using a diary or making up a story. When I sit and start sketching, suddenly I'm in the story, and the picture is the story, because it takes 10 minutes or an hour or however long you give yourself, and all that time the world's changing in front of you and you're interacting with it. People walk up and say, "What are you drawing?" And suddenly they're in the drawing, and something will happen, something will change, and you have to adjust. So I realized I don't have these skills. I need to learn this. So I just started doing a daily sketch every day in my sketchbook. And it could be the coffee mug. It could be a potted plant. It could be a tree or a branch, or a bird or whatever. Doesn't matter what it is, just as long as you pay attention to it and notice it and then mark something down. Doesn't have to look pretty or anything. And I did that for a couple years. And like you say, I post it here and there. I share it here and there. You just need people to see.
As a full-time person, just posting on Instagram.
I decided long ago with Instagram, I'm like, I post stuff I love and nobody says they like it, and then I post something that I didn't spend any time on, and it'll get all these reactions. So I was like, I don't care about this. I'm just gonna put stuff up there if I'm inspired to. So that's a big pile of stuff. Sometimes from the sketchbook, but I think by doing that, by getting all these odds and ends and all these imperfect things out there, it just starts to catch people's attention and give them the idea of that's kind of cool. I can tell somebody put attention on that, and I can tell somebody cared about that because they actually took time to draw it. Whether or not it's a perfect drawing or not, you can see the human attention there. Yeah. So when New Hampshire Humanities and the Community Development Finance Authority were putting together this series of community conversations, this was in 2024. They're putting together this series of community conversations. It's going to be all around the state. Communities can apply. They're going to host. When you host a conversation, you get a facilitator. You get all these resources to help make it a successful event. The idea is bring all your neighbors together. They might know each other. They might not. And we'll just spend an hour talking about community. What's important to you in this community specifically. It was
important to somebody that happened?
Yeah, it's vital.
That even was just an hour of getting people together?
It's got to start somewhere.
I know.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe somebody kind of picked that up.
It's
and
amazing.
Said, yeah.
It's because it seems so simple, right?
And
it seems
there we go, right?
And right, like the cartooning, it seems so simple, and yet we go through our lives so cut off from each other nowadays and feeling so connected. But if you're connected by looking at a device or a screen in your own home, especially after COVID, it can be hard to just get together in a room somewhere with 50 or 60 people and have a constructive conversation. And the idea is, like some of the facilitators say in the book, we're not going to ask a question like, how should we fund our schools? We're going to ask, how should we support the young people in this community? We're not going to trigger people to go to their corners and find the fault lines that politics really emphasizes right now, unfortunately. Maybe we're not unique in that sense, but we're gonna find the topics and the questions that can bring us together where you and I might disagree on lots of stuff, but let's find the thing we do agree on.
Dude, that is a lost art.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say in the introduction.
Nobody listens to each other anymore.
That's what it says in the introduction. I hear you. I totally hear you. That's what it says in the introduction. Like, these are ancient technologies of human community that we're losing. And so they were putting together this series. I think I'm in a long, sprawling sentence I need to wrap up. They were putting together this series, and they asked me, do you think you could come and bring a sketchbook and do a sketch at each event or something? And it was one of those questions where you think, well, of course I could. We could do comics from this. We could do a sketch. We could make what I ended up doing. I like to go above and beyond, as you see with the books. What we ended up doing was like a little sketchbook, 12 to 20 pages from each event. I would go ahead of time. I'd just kind of like show up in town, sit down on a park bench. What's happening? I'd start drawing it. I'd do some preliminary sketches to get to know the place, because you always run into somebody, meet somebody, get a story from that. Yeah. And then I'd go to the event, and I'd sit in the corner. I'd tell people, hi, I'm the cartoonist. I'm not here to cartoon you and what you look like. I'm here to cartoon the ideas that you bring to this conversation. And here's some paper and cards. You're welcome also to draw whatever you want to draw. And we'll all put them together at the end, and I'll return a sketchbook to this community, and you can share it around. And then after...
Did you give them all?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was part of it. Because the community's doing this not just to have a conversation. They make a report based on what they learned. And the way I like to...
So this was an official event? This wasn't just
No, it's a program.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's the CDFA and New Hampshire Humanities, even in this tough environment, got the funding together for it and made it possible for towns to do this. Well, thanks to public support for them. Thanks to
the pressure
supporters.
From the public.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the idea was they made a little report after the conversation. The community then decided to do a project based on what they learned about themselves. And that project could be an event. It could be something they're making. It could be some program that they institute. It could really be anything. It came from them. And a lot of them, and I had to return the sketchbook to them because they could print that up as posters. They could share it around.
Nice.
A lot of them use that as a way to inform the decision making for the resulting events that they did. I talked to one of the community centers just the other week when the book came out, and the director said, "Oh yeah, we printed up probably over 100 of these sketchbooks." And giving them out to people. People still take them off the shelf a year later because they see themselves in it, because they see their community in it. And I was so glad that we could get this book to them, because this book that's now publicly available collects those 6 sketchbooks plus a lot of material before and after that shows how we did the programs and suggestions if you want to try this yourself.
Marek, I have so many places to go here with these conversations.
That's a good feeling. That's a good feeling. To be continued.
Oh, no. Dude, I was deep in this one. Oh, my gosh. You have been listening to NH Unscripted. I'm brokenhearted today. I wanted to continue that conversation on. We're coming to you from the Gong Show-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. And no, I am not the unknown comic. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on those transistor radios. Come on, get out there in the sunshine today. Smile. 101.9 FM for those beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Folks, get out, have dinner, go see a play, go see a show, a movie. Come on, take your wife, your favorite girlfriend, take them both. We don't care. We'll catch you on the next one.